now I'm heading over to the live Facebook.
Oh, you're good at this. I like it.
Yeah, this is fun stuff. So I'm going to share it to this closed group. Sharing a group. Look at me go. My goodness. Now it's thinking. It's going to take me over to a page where I can title this. So I'm going to say Get Happy Podcast Chat with the fabulous Brendon Watt, once it lets me. Little slow internet today. Go figure. All right, here we go.
Probably because there's billions of people at home using the internet.
I know. I wonder how many people are cross-eyed. Get Happy Podcast Chat with. I'm going to do this fabulous. Brendon. What? Okay, we're going live. Boom chakalaka. I think we're live. We are live. We are live in the 5-day Get Happy Challenge. This is actually day 6. I hope you guys did your homework yesterday. Today is a bonus day, and I am so happy to present the fabulous, Mr. Phenomenal, Hottie Pants, Brendon Watt. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And most people need 6 days to get happy. You know, they need a bonus day. If you're going to get happy, you need a bonus day. Hello.
And we know no better bonus than you, for Pete's sakes. We've got a lot of very excited people.
Aww, flattering me this morning.
Huh?
Flattering me this morning.
Oh, please. It's all true. All true. We have, just warning you, we have the very happy Russians, because we know how happy Russians want to be. We have some Russians and we have some Brazilians in the house as well. So we've got translators today, and I just want to be mindful that we don't go too quickly. I have a tendency to speak very quickly. So, all right then, we're going to get started, people. So welcome to the Get Happy podcast. My guest today is Brendon Watt, Mr. Wonderful. And we're popping in other guests today. So hello, Brendon, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Rudrani. Thank you.
So, Brendon, we've been talking about how we get our happy on. And, you know, I wasn't always this joyful. I thought I was authentically happy. And then I discovered Access Consciousness and realized that not so much. So what is your story, Morning Glory? When did you?
Well, I mean, what I did my whole life was I looked to other people to see what happiness was. And so I'd be in this constant state of comparison with myself to other people. So for me as a kid, I knew that happiness was this sense of peace. Like I just had this sense of space in my world. I was happy. I knew who I was. I knew who I is. I knew who I am. And I was just me. That was my happy. But then nobody recognized that. Everybody would say, well, Brendon's not happy. So I went, oh, okay. So I need to get happy like other people. So I would watch people and they would do this manic expression of happiness, but it wouldn't match the energy of what I knew happiness could be. So I started going, oh, that's happiness. So I started discovering that I needed to act happy, thinking that that was happiness, while giving up my happiness in order to put on the act. And I was like, you know, as a kid, people used to say to me, well, are you happy? And I'd be like, I think so. Like, because I always knew that happiness is a choice that we make. It's not something that's everlasting. You can't just go, well, now I'm happy, that's it. For the rest of my life, I'm happy. No, it's a constant choice that we have to make in every moment, whether we choose to be it or not. But one of the things I've been recognizing dynamically lately is when you're truly being you, it feels like nothing, absolutely nothing. So what most of us do is we go like, you'll get to this space, you'll get to this new opening up of space that's called you. And you'll be going, but now I feel like nothing. So I mustn't be happy. So then we start inventing these different things like needs or whatever, these outside sources, so that we can have them in our lives to make us happy rather than recognize it's just a choice that we have available.
True story. Oh my goddess. It's like we start piling on things thinking that that's actually going to do it. We had Simone on earlier, and she mentioned, that we judge ourselves. And what would it be like if we didn't judge ourselves to get our happy on?
Yeah.
We have a
Yeah.
tendency, we're taught to do that. And there you were judging yourself for not being happy in the way that was accepted or is accepted in this reality.
Well, what I learned, yeah, exactly. And I was in Mexico. A couple of months ago, and I was talking to Gary, and I was like, I can't find my happy. And he said, are you looking for your happiness once again through people? And I went, yeah, I guess so. Like, I'm looking to see where I fit in the scheme of things.
Right.
And he said, okay, so why don't you look to the earth to show you what true happiness is? And I went, oh, because that more matches the energy of what I know happiness can be. Mm-hmm. It's like when I look at a tree and it's just still and it's peaceful, to me, in my world, that's happiness. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have a problem. It doesn't have an expectation. It's not judging itself. It's not trying to figure anything out. It's just being it. So when he said that, I started using that as my reference point, but not quite a reference point, from a place to actually look for the energy of what I knew was available rather than what I'd been taught. And like you said, that thing with judgment is, it's like, we've been taught, well, you're not laughing, so you're not happy. You're laughing because you're an idiot. It's like, I'm not laughing because it's not funny. Just because something's not funny doesn't mean I'm not happy.
Right.
So see, we come to so many definitions of what happiness is, what kindness is, what caring is, what anything is in this reality. We come to all these definitions, and then if we don't match that definition, we start judging ourselves based on what we've defined it as rather than what we know it can be.
True story. Brendon, I love the analogy of the tree. I remember being on an Actions for Futures call, and we were talking about what kind of tree are you, and how a tree doesn't judge. It doesn't get upset if a squirrel is running through its branches, or a woodpecker is pounding holes in it, or if it's becoming a home for birds, or if it, gets pulled up by, I don't know, a tornado or something. It doesn't have a point of view. And I remember on this episode, they were asking what kind of tree we were. And I asked Gary, I said, I asked if I was a maple, I got yes. I asked if I was a dogwood, I got yes. I asked if I was a pine tree, I got yes. And he said, okay, so Truth, are you the forest? And it was such a beautiful moment for me, because I feel more connected, more joy, more happiness with this beautiful planet than I do with this reality. So every morning I'm looking out the window at this tree that I always look at when I'm standing in the grass. And I do this communion, this creationship with the planet.
Yeah.
And that really gets my happy on. So what do you do to get your happy on? Is there something that you do for yourself that's just...
Well, I have the same thing. It's like, so for me, if I'm not creating my life, then I'm not choosing happiness. Like, my energy will stop. So I know myself well enough now to go, okay, so I could either choose to create, I could choose to go outside, I could choose something different, or I can enjoy the unhappiness. See, this is the other thing we got to get to with unhappiness is, if you get to a place where you go, you know what? I today am a cranky asshole. I'm going to enjoy it rather than I'm going to judge it. Then you can actually see that you're choosing it. And that's what we have to get to with it, is if you see it's a choice, then what makes unhappiness bad? Nothing.
Unhappy.
You just go, you know what? I'm unhappy today and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to just walk around and I'm going to be an unhappy asshole. You know, different reality because you're no longer in the judgment of it. You're looking at the choice of it. But for me, it's like, I mean, like you said before, with the energy of the forest and stuff like that. See, one of the things that we're taught and we learn with judgment is we start disconnecting from the planet. We start pulling our energy out of the planet in order to be human, in order to be normal, in order to be real, in order to be like everybody else. And if you watch kids and notice that they're just happy until they're tired or until they're hungry or until they're cranky, they still have their energy connected to the planet. So the younger the kid, you'll usually see that they more match the energy of happiness. As they start getting older and get into the teenage years, if you look at the energy of it, you start seeing where they start going, oh, well, now I need to start judging. I need to start being normal. I need to start being this. It's like, but the thing with that is if you've been something ever in any lifetime, you already are it. You can be it again in a heartbeat. You don't have to relearn to be a kid. You just got to look at it and go, okay, so what could I choose right now that would show me that energy again? And for me, nature is just an obvious one for me. If I'm having a cranky moment, I get outside and go for a run. 99% of the time, I'll come back happy.
Yeah,
if there's the 1% of the time I don't come back happy, I know there's something I need to look at.
Brilliant. And I love the piece of reconnecting with the child happiness that you had. You know, when did we decide to give that up? At what age did you guys decide, hey, you know what? Everybody's telling me I can't be me. Like with Brendon, where he knew he was happy and it doesn't feel like anything because you're just being yourself, you know, you're just being you. So, you know, when did you guys decide to give that up, and would you be willing to reclaim the true joy and the essence that you be? And everything that doesn't allow that, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
I love it. So when that 1% happens and you say, there's something I need to look at, where do you go with that piece?
Well, I know that there's something sticking in my universe that I'm not looking at. If it's still got that energy there where I'm feeling stuck in something. See, but what I did for a lot of years was I'd go, well, let me just push that outside of my world so that I can choose a little bit of happiness while thinking that was happiness, but I still was pushing things outside rather than go, see, if you didn't have to avoid anything in your life, then you could go, okay, there's still something here right now. What's sticking me? Oh, I've still got a problem with this, or I've still have a need of this, or whatever that is. But if you recognize it and you have the awareness of it, then you can change it. Then you can go, oh, you know what? I've still, like, for me, for a long time, I had in my world that without a relationship, I couldn't be happy. So
nobody else feels that way in this reality.
Yeah, nobody else does that. Or without money, you know, without money, I can't be happy. You know, so we have all these things, but they're the needs that we've decided to create the happiness. And when we do that, what we're doing is we're constantly looking for an outside source to create our life. Now, for me, I know what that energy now, and I know when it comes up, so I can go, you know what have I decided I need with this? What invention am I using to create the need of this I'm choosing, so that I can actually be aware of what I'm choosing?
Right. I love that.
You know, because true happiness lives when no needs exist. If you have no needs of anyone or anything, then you can choose anything.
I love that. Anything that doesn't allow you guys. You know what? Brendon, say that again one more time, because I just felt a lot of people go unconscious.
I like doing that. True happiness lives where no needs exist. Or where need does not exist.
It's when you decide you need it that you uncreate your happiness.
Well, if you've decided you need it, you have to look to it to create your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember once when I think I just started Access and I was like, if only I had $10,000 in the bank, I could be happy. You know, and this is what I was doing. And I was like, $10,000? Now $10,000 would barely pay my bills for 2 weeks. But anyway, but I was like, and I remember the day that my bank account hit $10,000 and nothing changed. Nothing in my universe changed. And I went, oh, so that didn't do anything. But
Hmm.
that's what we do with everything is we go, well, once I get the perfect relationship, then I'll be happy. And then you'll get the relationship. And with this in place, all you can do is judge. So you're going, okay, I need to make this relationship perfect. So you'll judge you'll judge them. And then do you ever actually get happy? If you went, you know what? I'm gonna create the worst relationship ever, but I'm gonna be happy in the meantime. Would you in turn create an amazing relationship?
That's a very good question. Hmm. That's a very good question. And you know, the thing is what about your relationship with yourself in all of this?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
talk about the five elements of intimacy, and you know, how can you possibly listen to me? This is my interesting point of view. How can you possibly have this creationship with someone else when you don't even have it with yourself?
Well,
Right.
you can't because once again, you're looking to them to create it for you rather than you creating it for you and allowing them to. I mean, one of the elements of intimacy is allowance, and it's like allowing them to choose what they're going to choose, allowing anybody to choose what they're going to choose. But if you don't need somebody to choose anything to make you happy,
Mm-hmm.
then what invitation can you be to everybody else to choose happiness?
Right. I
I
love.
mean, like we talked about with kids before, it's like I know for me, if I'm like being choosing unhappiness, and I'm around an animal or a kid, and they're like, you know, and animals are just being them, and kids when they're just being them, I'm just like it. I find it really, really difficult to hold on to my unhappiness.
That is true. I am so grateful for my cat Pepita. We've gotten really close during this. Well, if you guys are listening to this in the future, we're recording this during a world pandemic, the coronavirus.
Plandemic,
What's that?
plandemic.
Yeah, pandemic. True story. So my cat and I mean, I was traveling all over the world, and my cat had a closer relationship with my cat keeper, you know, babysitter or whatever. She would come and spend an hour with her, and you know, bring the mail in and all that, and make sure my plants were watered. And so my cat had this wonderful relationship with her, not so much with me, you know. And now we're so tight. I think we're a little needy of each other, actually. You know, we're crashing our faces into each other. There's no way I can't be happy with this beautiful animal that just, you know, when she's hungry, she lets me know. If she wants to go outside, she lets me know it.
Uh,
But it doesn't change who she be. You know, what if we could be more like our pets?
well, let me add something to that too, because see, that's so with what we're talking about is it's not about not having the things in your life that make you happy.
Mm.
It's not about going, oh well, now if I didn't have this I wouldn't be as happy. No, look to the things that actually contribute to your happiness also. It's not going, well, but this contributes to my happiness, now I'm relying on this because if this went away then I wouldn't be as happy. No, that's not what this is about. It's about look and go, oh, you know what, for me, I love my house full of flowers. Love that. It makes me happier. It gives me a sense of joy. If the flowers weren't here, I'd go, I still have the sense of joy, but I'm more joyful when the flowers are here. So you still want to look for those things in your life that contribute to you
Mm-hmm.
and start adding those. But the other side of this is look through your life right now at the things that don't contribute.
Hmm.
And then ask yourself, okay, so I'm choosing this for what reason. Doesn't mean get rid of it, but look at it and go, okay, so what could I change with this so it could contribute?
Right. I remember the first time I heard Gary say that, because he has some bizarre things in his house, y'all, that make him happy. And I did the podcast with him, and he was talking about this life-sized stuffed monkey. And
it's at his front door. It's wonderful.
It's the size of a person, people. It's not the size of a monkey. It's the size of a person. So you've seen it, of course. And he said something about a crown. Is it like dressed up like a prince or a king or something?
It's dressed up like a king. Yeah, it's a king monkey. It's wonderful.
So,
I mean, if you saw it in the dark, you'd probably have a heart attack. But
he says it sits in this really nice chair, and it just makes him happy. He says it's funny. It makes me laugh. And I do recall, him saying, and as well as Gary Douglas, who is the founder of Access Consciousness, Dr. Dane here, co-founder, has said, look around your home periodically and ask, is there anything here that isn't contributing? Yep. And if it isn't contributing, maybe it's time for it to go. Maybe there was a time it did, and now that time has changed. And I know what you mean. I love my kitchen. I have a state-of-the-art kitchen, and I love cooking in this kitchen. I mean, I love going out and being served as well, or I have a niece that's a sous chef, and I love to have her cook in my kitchen because I learn so much from her. But just even if it's, my fancy coffee machine, my espresso machine, just the joy that I have, creating delectable meals. I have a million cookbooks, and I don't even open them. I talk to the food and ask, okay, what spices would go well with this, and what can we create today? And, it's just one of the most joyful experiences I have. So think about it, all of you out there in Podland and in this challenge. What are those things that actually contribute to you, that make you happier? I love this with the flowers,
Yeah, I love flowers. But it's like, even if you looked at it and went, okay, so what's one thing I could add to my life today that would give me more joy, more happiness, and whatever that is. It might be a phone call to a friend. It doesn't need to be a certain thing. It can be anything. But it's like, but we kind of start forgetting about things throughout our lives. Like, there's so many things where you go, oh, I used to really love doing this. What happened? Oh, well, I got in a relationship and they didn't like it, so I stopped doing it. And it's like, if you started actually looking at your life and going, what would I like to choose? What would be joyful for me today? What's one thing I could add to my life today that would give me more of a sense of joy? Or what's one thing that I could get rid of out of my life today that's giving me less of a sense of joy?
Right.
And look at it as if you looked at your future as right now you needed to lay the groundwork for it, then if you started going, okay, every day even if that's just a little bit, every day I'm going to get more of a sense of me, I'm going to get more of a sense of joy in my life, then you're laying the groundwork for a future of joy and possibilities. See, it's not something, you don't just go one day from, well, everything sucks, to the next day, everything's magical. You actually have to get there. It's not just, this is not Alice in Wonderland, click your heels. Like, you've actually got to put in the groundwork and go, okay, what am I choosing? And what's my life showing up as based on the choices that I'm making right now?
Yeah, it requires action, people.
It does require action. Yes,
you
exactly.
Can't take a little blue pill like Alice.
Trust me, I've taken plenty of blue pills and they didn't get me any closer to joy and happiness. Well, they did in the moment, but in the long run, not so much.
But is it really authentic happiness?
No, it's not. It's the pretense that there's an outside source that can provide it.
Right. True story. This has been such a wonderful conversation and a wonderful contribution to this Facebook group and to Podland. And I'm so grateful to have you in my universe to share.
Thank you. Me too. Feelings mutual, honey.
Woo, woo. And I can't wait to play with you more. Just so you guys know, Brendon and Simone are the relationship done different gurus, in my point of view. I got to take a wonderful class with them, I think it was just a week ago, and plan on taking a CF course so that I can teach that class as well. It's like a 2.5-day class in the real world, I think, but online, I think it's been a little more stretched out, you know. But yeah, and what a contribution. They also have a book, you know, Relationships, Do You Really Want One? I'm happy to share the link in our Facebook group and on this podcast as well, so that you guys can check that out. So thank you again, Brendon.
Well, thank you. And it's like, look at it for you. Get happy and stay there. What's it going to take for me to get happy and stay there? Right. And start asking yourself that. And it could be something so, happiness is just a choice.com. Exactly. It's like, look, give yourself permission to actually look at what true happiness is for you, whatever that is. If just not even going to try and put any definitions on that. Start asking yourself, even ask this: what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can I be to perceive, know, be, and receive true happiness as my reality for all eternity with total ease? And everything that doesn't allow that times to Godzilla, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, all 9 Pod and Pop Shorts, boys and beyonds.
I mean, and you might like running around the neighborhood like a crazy person. That might be happiness for you. Good. Do what's happiness for you, not what's happiness for everybody else. We've got enough people on this planet right now doing what works for everybody else. We need those people right now that are willing to be different, willing to be them. Go, you know what? Happiness for me is absolute peace. Okay, good. Cool.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And, you know, get your crazy on if that makes you happy.
Exactly. And
don't worry about what anybody else thinks. You do you. All right.
You do you. Exactly.
Yeah. What if being you was actually a gift to the planet, was actually the joy this planet requires, and you're squandering, you know? Interesting choice. Thank you again. This has been delightful.
Oh, thank you.
I look forward
to everyone.
Playing more in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all,
me too.
Get you happy on and stay there. Take Brendon's advice or not. And until the next time, ciao for now.